Have you ever wondered how some people make eating healthy, exercise, and managing stress look so easy? You can too. Welcome to Wellness Wisdom, where we uncover the secrets to lasting health and happiness and empower you to make wise health choices, see results, and create a healthy lifestyle for good. Join Camille Kennard, licensed social worker, certified health and wellness coach, a self-care specialist on the journey to explore how to make health and well-being possible for you. It's a health and wellness journey you can take together. Please welcome your host, Camille Kennard.
Welcome everybody to Wellness Wisdom today. I love this month of December when we get to be with family and friends and just enjoy time together. This is the week of Christmas, so hopefully you guys have all your shopping done so there's less stress and you're feeling calm and just enjoying time with your friends and family. You know, it's interesting doing this podcast on wellness. There's so many different aspects of wellness. There's mental and physical wellness. There's our financial wellness. And I think it all impacts how we feel about ourselves, right? So a lot of the clients I work with, what their core issue is just self-love issues. It's not eating differently. It's not exercise. Those things come as they learn to love themselves. So today I'm really excited for the podcast that you guys are going to just love. I have my guest, Rachel Buchanan here. Rachel, welcome to the podcast.
Oh, thank you so much.
I'm so excited to have Rachel. Rachel and I are friends. We met through Utah Leading Ladies. It's a networking group here in Utah. And I've been really excited to have her on my podcast because she has a passion for talking about skin and physical health, really taking good care of ourselves and loving ourselves. Rachel, this is a passionate, for me, this is a subject I'm very passionate about. In May, I did my first mother-daughter retreat where we had teenage girls and their moms. And the main subject of our retreat was body image, right? Like loving your body, taking care of your body. And there were so many different stories that people had about their body, that they were ugly or they weren't good enough, or, they compared themselves to other people. And I just think for a lot of people out there, especially women, we see and we compare and we just have a hard time loving ourselves and loving who we are. And I'm just curious, like what started your journey in wanting to help people love themselves? Like, where did that come from for you?
Definitely my own journey of self-love, transformation, which, to be honest, is a lifelong process.
For sure. Yeah.
We're always learning and growing and having those different experiences in our lives. But I read a book about being able to transform your life by your thoughts and actions. And it really kind of lit a fire in me to be able to be in a position where I wanted to be able to help people at times of transition, and really kind of started the whole self-awareness and consequent schooling, and everything just kind of went down the path to lead me to where I am now, which I'm so grateful. I've had so many different experiences, but it's a process, but it all started with me, truly.
I think that's such a, huge part is like, in order for us to give or serve others, do we love ourselves? Do we really acknowledge who we are, and what are we telling ourselves about ourselves? I just realized I forgot to mention that Rachel has an amazing background as a trained acupuncturist, and she specialized in women's health. So you guys, this is going to be all about like women. What do we need for our health? She now has a mission-based non-toxic skincare company. It's called Beauty Counter, where she empowers and educates women to make better choices. So they're advocating in D.C. to help make choices, really to take good care of our skin, right? Because our skin is like that biggest organ in our body where everything comes into our system. So I love this, and I'm so happy to have you on this podcast. I love the fun fact that you shared with me too, is that you traveled with your two young daughters, a 1.5-year-old and a 5-year-old, all over the U.S. So I think that's really, really cool because you're a person who's courageous to do that, to take those little kids all across the country. I think that's really cool. And she's kind of marked off all the different states she's gone to. So, sometimes beauty is a subject that has so many emotions to it for women, right? Like my own personal beauty, am I as beautiful as other women? What does being beautiful mean? There's just so much emotion, and it's a topic that often women, don't want to talk about, or they don't want to like think about, am I beautiful or am I not beautiful?
Right.
Because they're having maybe they've had negative thoughts about themselves. I know that's what I went through as a teenager, is feeling like I wasn't as beautiful as other people, or that I didn't matter, that kind of a thing. But I love what you're talking about, which is it really comes from the inside of us, right? Our beauty is, what do we think about? Like, what do we focus on? Like, how do we feel about who we are? So what else did you, like, what kind of led you to this role in women's health and helping women with their health? Kind of how did that take you into women's health? Like what was your
kind of like what was my
journey? Yeah.
And journey.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I knew that because in my 20s, I went through this transformational change, and, I was very aware of the things I was putting in my body, the food I was eating, the things I was doing. I was meditating, I was drinking the green juice, I was going to yoga, I was doing all of the things. And then I realized that I wanted to be able to help women in a mind-body capacity, and ended up going to acupuncture school because it was the widest umbrella that you could do so many different type of modalities. And it just was a natural progression for me to go, because I always knew that I wanted to focus on women, to go into women's health. And I was in that space for a period of maybe 5 years, 7 if you include schooling, before I realized, you have these different seasons in life, and it became very apparent to me that I needed to shift. So I had amazing experiences. I had amazing patients come in that had just amazing transformations. I mean, really, the stories that I can tell are even just thinking about them, like, bring tears to my eyes. So I'm so grateful to have that. So what was the pivotal moment for me to change, which may seem strange for some, but to change from having a full-time acupuncture practice focusing on women to now working with a non-toxic skincare company that educates women and does advocate in DC, was the fact that I had just had my second daughter. So she was 4 months old, and I was just going back to work. I'd spent some time away, having, maternity leave, enjoying those precious months with the baby. And I had 2 women come into my practice. The first month, I specialized in women's health. So I really did fertility support. I worked with a lot of breast cancer support, women going through various stages of their treatments, as well as like autoimmune issues. So in my first month going back to work, I had 2 patients who were younger than me. And at the time I was 36. So I had 2 patients younger than me. They were both diagnosed with breast cancer, and neither one of them had the genetic factor, meaning that environmental factors were largely a contribution to their breast cancer. And I'm going to digress a little bit. When I first started acupuncture school, I knew that there were bad ingredients in products, but I really had no idea the complete lack of regulation. It wasn't until I had a practice and a medical doctor friend of mine told me, because I had another line in the office that I thought it was free and clear of everything, because of course I would never want to have anything in my office that would potentially give, a negative experience to my patients. So I thought that I was carrying a clean line. Well, come to find out, the FDA has literally no regulation in the personal care product industry whatsoever. And, I really had no idea the scope of the lack of regulation. So I found out about Beautycounter, and really in just a few minutes on their website, I learned so much that I felt empowered to join the movement. And at first I had it as an option for my patients. And I really just started talking with my friends and family about, wow, this is such a bigger issue than I realized. And it's not a women's health issue. It's bipartisan. This affects personal care products that really affect everyone, women, men, children, everybody. And, a lot of people just don't know, and myself included. And I was a natural healthcare professional, and I didn't know. So I figured if I didn't know something that really affects people every single day, then the majority of people may not know. And in fact, they don't. The state of the regulation in the United States is pretty behind the times, I would say. To compare, the European Union has banned or restricted 1,400 ingredients. The United States has banned or restricted 30, not 30,000, 30. So we are dangerously behind the times. And, I love now that I work with a movement of women, and there's so many different ways to get involved in the movement, but we are really just educating people about the need to be your own advocate, to look at the ingredients that you're using on your skin, and just to be able to make better informed decisions. So I ended up selling my acupuncture practice to be able to focus working with this company. And I am able to reach so many more people now with a message that really affects everybody on an everyday basis. And so many more people than just the people that would come into my doors through my acupuncture practice. And I get to work with an amazing group of women on something that I feel very passionate about, and have, long-lasting change that we'll actually be able to see the change from our movement in our lifetime, which is really pretty impressive.
I love that, because you think about like what we put on our skin, and for women, we're, putting on a lot of different makeup and things like that. And I don't think people realize, like you were saying, that it actually goes right into your system through your skin. And you were seeing things like cancer and infertility and autoimmune issues that those could be from the environment. I don't think we realize that, okay, the environment could be having an effect on my physical health. And as women,
Exactly.
We want to look good and we want to take care of ourselves, but what about keeping us from getting illnesses or things like that?
Exactly.
I think that's so amazing what you guys are doing. And it sounds like it was your own personal, hey, I can help people at a level of, maybe feeling better. But what about this systemic problem we have in a system that is giving us products that are actually contributing to disease? And
Right. And the simple fact is we can control the water and the things that we bring into our home with air purification systems, water purification systems. You can control a lot of the things in your environment, but and as well as the products, it's that you're bringing into your house to put on your skin. Whenever 90% of ingredients have never been tested for human safety, it's imperative that we know what's in our products that we're putting on our skin, and as well as try to make a change. Like, it's time for our industry to make a change. So it's just an easy swap out, and it's these accumulative effects over a long period of time that really do accumulate, and we don't know. The fact is we don't have any idea what's going to be the outcome of a lifetime. And I talk with even my mom. I love her dearly, and she's very supportive, but she's like, we just didn't know about this stuff, and it really wasn't important, and look, I'm fine. And I was like, I know, Mama, but there's been 10,000 ingredients introduced to commerce since World War II every single year. So when someone is looking for a high-performing, non-toxic option, Beautycounter bridges the gap for that. And we believe that women should not have to sacrifice their health in the name of beauty, and that all women deserve safe products. It should be a basic right for anybody in the United States to have the access to safe products. And, beauty counter products may not be the answer for everybody, but our mission is not to get beauty counter products into the hands of everyone. It's to get safe products into the hands of everyone. And we do that because we educate people about the lack of regulation and then advocate in Washington, D.C., which I have to add a little plug in here. It's super, super, super exciting. Yesterday, our CEO actually went to Washington and testified in front of numerous members of Congress and the FDA. The chairman for the Food and Drug Administration was there and really raised awareness around this specific issue, since there hasn't been a law regulating the industry since 1938. It's an $80 billion industry in the United States. It's $488 billion worldwide. So we are making progress. So it's really exciting to see that things will change in our lifetime.
Oh, I think that's so exciting. Just to think about like us doing what we can to help people be empowered to make decisions that will help their health, right? That will keep them taking care of themselves, which I think all of us want. I mean, as women, when we're putting makeup on or we're putting personal care products on, we're doing it to emphasize our beauty, right? We don't want something that's going to end up hurting us or, I know many women that they don't even know that what they're putting on their body, because they're exercising every day and they're trying to eat healthy and, like you said, doing yoga and all this stuff, but what you're putting on your body really does make a difference. So I love your passion for this. Is definitely, I can hear it in your voice, like, this is my cause. I want to go out there and tell everybody about it. And it sounds like just your own beliefs about how to improve health and wellness and then help people feel beautiful without have products that help them feel beautiful without these negative side effects to it. We're going to take a little break, but when we get back, I would love for you to kind of share with us a little bit more, maybe about some people that you've seen. You kind of talked about how much you love to see people transform their health. And I would love for you to just kind of talk about what you've noticed with the beauty counter products and helping people love themselves, what you've seen as like some transformations in them.
Do you feel stressed, overweight, and unhappy? Are you tired of setting goals that you don't accomplish? Do you want more energy, motivation, and focus to create your dreams? Many people struggle to keep up the commitment, motivation, and confidence to be successful, to reach their goals and aspirations. They often let other things get in the way of their personal health and happiness. It doesn't have to be this way. You can change. Join us for a 6-week online health transformation workshop. Learn about the mind-body connection, overcome obstacles to health, create daily health rituals, get support from others like you, and change your life for good. Register now at flourishwellnessconsulting.com under online group workshops or email Camille at flourishwellnessconsulting.com. Our gift to you as a podcast listener is $50 off the transformation workshop. Use the promo code podcast50 when you register. This year, make peace with your body and like who you are for good.
Welcome back, everybody, to Wellness Wisdom. We're having a conversation about loving yourself, loving your skin, loving your face. We're having a conversation about the beauty products that we use that are out there. And I'm talking to Rachel Buchanan, who she is amazing. She works with a company called Beauty Counter that they empower and educate women to make better choices about their skincare products, makeup, that kind of thing, to have products that are not going to end up hurting them, right? Or having negative effects. Rachel, I asked you before the break if you would kind of share with us, like when you see people, because I think people are going to say, yeah, but I can buy my mascara for $3 and it's less expensive than like putting something, like trying some other kind of makeup. What changes have you seen for people as they've started to use more clean products? What have you noticed?
Well, I actually had a patient who was considering, she was a referral actually, and we were talking on the phone before she came in. So we were talking about lifestyle changes and different things that she could do now, because she was going to be considering going through in vitro fertilization in a few months. And, of course, I'm going over lifestyle changes, toxins that you're putting in and on your body, and really all kinds of different things. And I just said, you need to be aware of the products that you're putting on your body. One thing, Beautycounter products or not, just they have a list of 1,500 ingredients that they've banned. And I always gave this list. You can get it on their website. It's called their Never List. It's 1,500 ingredients that they've banned, and you can cross-reference it with products that you're currently using. They have them grouped into categories, and it says what it is, why it's bad, and the products it's typically found in. So I just told her, go through that list, make sure that the things that you're bringing into your home don't have these chemicals, and see how it goes, make the lifestyle changes, check back with me in a few months. And sure enough, she messaged me in 6 weeks, and she said, the only thing I started doing was I changed out my products, and I started eating more soups. In Chinese medicine, you need to warm. You want your belly to be nice and warm and ready to receive the baby. And she got pregnant naturally, without even having to come in. And that was just such an eye-opener to the fact that, and they've done lots of blood tests too, where they can see a dramatic decrease in the number of parabens and phthalates that are in your blood in a number of 24, 48 hours, that it drops off dramatically. So this is known information. You can actually be tested and your test considerably cleaner in a very short period of time, after changing out your products the products that you're using. And, like I said, Beautycounter may not be the answer. There's lots of cleaner products at natural health food stores. But I think where Beautycounter comes in is it's kind of like before you had to choose between something that was maybe a little bit more, I kind of call it lovingly, like the granola products that are maybe not as high performing, or you had to go, to the Beautycounter industry, the actual counters at the department stores, and get the high performing things that were more harmful to health. So that was one specific thing that I thought was really interesting. Unfortunately, we don't realize it until it's too late. We've already gotten a diagnosis of some kind, or maybe we're already going through treatment. And unfortunately, I've been in situations and had patients that I've been working with that are already there. And it's kind of like, well, let's take a proactive approach to health rather than a reactive approach. But, even then, the idea is to be able to not have to worry about this and be able to use things. Every woman at all stages of life want to feel beautiful and love themselves. And, one thing that is difficult, especially for women that are going through any sort of cancer treatment at any stage, is feeling like they don't feel themselves, because their whole body is changing and going through all of these different transformations. But the fact that, the doctors will say, basically you can't use anything. You can't do any, it's so restrictive of the things that you can put on your body, because they know that you're so vulnerable. So it is nice that they can use Beautycounter products. And I've had patients just say, it feels so good to be able to wear a lip gloss, or to put something, to feel beautiful when I go out with my husband for a date night. And, I can forget even for a moment that this is all happening, and feel like I love myself and I feel beautiful again. So I think kind of just comes back to the fact that taking a proactive approach, trying to get ahead of the 8 ball, and before any of us have any of these diagnoses. And it comes back to, when you're pregnant, when you're whenever these times of growth and transformation as a person. If you're thinking of, you're growing a baby, you shouldn't be putting anything like that on your skin anyway. I would argue that, if something says, and a lot of companies will say on their websites, this product contains something that is harmful to reproductive health and can cause, XYZ. And, they say don't use while you're pregnant. I would say don't use it. If it says don't use it while you're pregnant, you probably shouldn't use it
ever. Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, babies, adolescent girls, we're being, as women especially, we're being exposed to things our entire lives. But the average woman uses 12 products a day, which is a combination of hundreds of chemicals. And so it's this small accumulation over a long period of time that can really add up. So that's why I think it is important to just have the information to be able to make the decisions that are going to be beneficial for you long term. So then you can just radiate and not worry about it. I mean, we shouldn't be having to worry about all of these products. I mean, I really think it comes back to the job of the government and these companies. There isn't any ramifications for them as far as whenever people start to complain about adverse side effects, for whatever they are, they're not required to tell the FDA. The FDA has literally no regulation for these companies at all. So the work is going to be done at the base level, hopefully, to where anybody going into any store, hopefully, will be able to pick up a product and know that it's safe and be able to put it on themselves and on their family without any concern.
Yeah, I think that's really important. And the biggest part is just education. Like you said, I think to just go to the website and see all those products and look at the products that you use and see if any of those ingredients, those 1,500 ingredients, are in anything you're using. We can just start. I think people feel overwhelmed when they hear some of these kinds of things like, okay, there's stuff in there that could be harming us. It's like, no, just start simple, taking and looking at what ingredients are in and maybe just switching out one or two products, trying something different. I love that you shared those stories of women who've had transformations or experiences with really, it's kind of like when someone decides to start eating more greens, more fruits and vegetables, they just start feeling more energy. They start feeling more alive. I love that, this woman was able to have a baby because what she was putting in her body was clean. And sometimes our body is so sensitive to all those kinds of things. And then the woman with cancer, that she was able to still put it on. That's so interesting that, in my opinion, if a doctor is telling a cancer patient not to put it on, why should any of us be putting it on, right? Like putting it on our body or in our body. But I think that's great that she was able to still, be able to use products and feel beautiful and do that instead of feeling restricted, because it's already so hard having cancer, feeling like some of your choices are taken away and that kind of thing.
Mindful health to help you flourish. What if in just 90 days you could completely change your life? If you could start losing the weight that's been weighing you down, get better sleep, eat better, have more energy, and have a healthy lifestyle for good. Have you ever wondered why changing your health is so hard? Do you want to believe it is possible? What you mentally focus on grows. This program is set up to help you grow a garden of health. In just 90 days, you can learn the habits of health. This is not a diet or a short-term health challenge, but a healthy lifestyle change for the long term. Health starts in your mind. Through this workbook and audios, you'll be guided and empowered with the confidence to see results and change your life. 30 days to plant the seeds of beliefs and mindset. 30 days to nourish the seeds through daily health habits. And 30 days to grow and thrive by gaining confidence and energy when you see the results of improved mood, weight release, and finding enjoyment in moving your body. Buy this program and watch yourself flourish. What you focus on grows. Let's grow a healthy body and mind. Reserve this program today by contacting Camille at flourishwellnessconsulting.com.
I love this. I think this is really cool. So, for what would you say, like, as, with your experience, is like the first step for people to just start like making some changes, or what would you say?
Oh, I love this. So, it really comes back to the fact that beauty comes from the inside, right? So really touching getting in a heart-centered space of, who am I? And, filling your days with things that empower you and make you feel good and positive, and knowing the things that recharge you and honoring that. So you're in a space of potentiality and possibility, and you're going to be exuding love and joy whenever you're able to listen to that, and kind of have that be a guide as your feelings, like use your feelings as your guide. I'm all about setting goals and making things happen, but it's kind of like, who are you in the process of achieving that? Because every day counts. And here we are at the end of the year, and I'm realizing, like, wow, before I know it, my kids are going to be out of school, and I need to work at not feeling so busy, being more present, being more in the moment, and what tools do you have to do that? But also realizing in your life, like, what things are you experiencing or involved in that maybe don't bring you joy or make you feel depleted, and really kind of take note into that. And just, it's kind of like, I've said for the last 15 years, I've been on a happiness diet.
I love that.
I don't watch the news because it makes me very sad and anxious. And so, I used to live in Florida, and I would truly hear about hurricanes from my friends posting about them on Facebook.
Yeah.
Because I didn't watch
I didn't know that was happening.
Yeah. Oh, I guess we should figure out what we're doing. Anyway, but, just kind of coming from that place of love and joy, and using your emotions as a guide, which seems so simple, but I think so many of us, as women, whether you're a mother or not, our nature is to nurture. So we're always giving, and sometimes we don't necessarily think about ourselves and centering, and what do we need as food and priorities in our lives to be able to really feel fulfilled and joyful, because your smile radiates, and it's contagious. Emotions are extremely contagious, positive or negative. But if you are, and I always make eye contact and whenever I'm walking down the street, and try to do my best to smile at strangers, and because I know that it's contagious. When I smile at them, they may think I'm crazy. I'm like, why is this strange woman looking at me and smiling? But there's a little part of them that is going to maybe feel uplifted. And I think that when we're joyful, it spreads. And the idea is that we all want to look and feel beautiful, that the joy is going to be radiating out, but we shouldn't we want to I'm nearing 40. I'll be 40 next year. So, I have the laugh lines. I have, my skin doesn't look like it did whenever I was 20. I want to be able to use the products that are going to mirror what I feel on the inside when I smile, and maybe not show quite as many wrinkles as they would otherwise. So I just like that I can find something that is safe, and I don't have to worry about the products that I'm putting on, because I want my skin to have that same glow as I feel on the inside. And I just feel like that's something that is the joy and the love really comes from inside. So if I were going to say any tip, I guess it would probably be to start with you and finding your joy.
I love that. I did this thing where I made a list of what nourishes me versus what depletes me, and we've talked about it a few times in my mindfulness workshops that I've done. Really knowing that about yourself. What is it that nourishes me? What is it that makes me feel great and alive and joyful and happy? I love that you brought up, that beauty isn't just, it's not skin. It's not just the skin. It's actually your confidence, your love of life, the joy that you exude. And I do think that people that take good care of their health, they do glow, right? They do have that glow of health, but really important to find the things that recharge you and empower you and help you feel, just a quality to your life is so important. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
This is so great. I love this conversation. If there was, any other tips you'd have for people as they're on this journey of trying to find products that are natural, find things that support their health, is there any other tips or things that you would ask them or tell them to do? Any other things that you would say would
on a
be
journey
beneficial?
to benefit health long term? Well, I think that, completely aside from beauty products and happiness, really, because I think that happiness really can be such a tool to be able to use, but taking out, like you said, taking out the things that are stressful. And I wish that I had it with me. I'm not always the best at remembering lots of details because I get so passionate about whatever it is that I'm talking about. I've read so many different books, and there's been a Harvard study that talked about the 7 daily activities to include in your life. And some of them were things like exercise for 30 minutes, do some sort of prayer and meditation, have some sort of gratitude practice. But the list of 7 things, I thought, and they said basically, if you don't try and do all at once because you're going to feel overwhelmed. And if you aren't successful, then you'll try and stop. But if you try and include maybe 1 or 2 a month until you kind of add up. But, I think just having a gratitude practice has been really, really helpful for me as far as my, every day I ask myself and my children before we go to bed, okay, what are you grateful for? What was your favorite part of the day? And what was, something that was a little bit challenging? And, to have that kind of mindfulness throughout your day of, okay, looking for the opportunities to be grateful and looking for just the good and the love, and to be able to share that with other people, even if it's something small. I mean, even my kids, they'll think of, or even my husband, like thinking that it has to be something big. And I'm like, we could be grateful that the sky is blue and the sun is shining and we have, a beautiful place to live, we feel inspired
indoor
by
plumbing
where
and a warm house. And
right. It's the little things. So, I mean, beauty, aside from like, the beauty, like really the beauty products and that sort of thing is really it goes hand in hand, but like I said, it really is, it's so much more deeper, I think, than that. And I feel really empowered and moved by trying to find women who are ready to step into that place of listening to themselves, because I think a lot of times people don't have the ability to ask the question and listen, because it's sometimes really hard to be able to hear what it is. Like if your soul or your heart was going to speak to you, like what is it going to say? And sometimes it's really hard to 1, ask the question, 2, listen, and 3, act on it. So I feel really encouraged and inspired over the last couple of months to really kind of work in that space as well. And how I tie, my beauty work, my beauty counter work, and my mission in with that, we'll have to see. But I love the aspect of working with people and this whole like times of transformation. And I love the women that I work with, and being part of such a movement that's so much bigger than anything that I could do on my own. It's so much bigger than anything that I could have really imagined. I kind of joke that it's kind of like the job that I never knew that I wanted. So, because I never thought that I would be working in this sort of like, as far as with Beauty Counter in that sort of capacity, but I absolutely love it. So, we'll see how I'm able to figure out helping women, because I do feel like it is very important to be able to embrace these different seasons of change and honoring the self, the soul, and joy, and being able to share all of that love and ask the questions that matter and be able to listen and act.
I love that. So, promoting health as a community, and I think it doesn't have to do with just physical health, but it's our mental health. And a lot of what you talked about, the gratitude practice, finding our joy, those kinds of things really improve our mental health, which you and I know that mind and body is very connected, and that makes such a difference. To embrace ourselves and love ourselves, I think that's just so important. And I hope everybody, as you listen to this podcast, you think about, what are the things that I really, really love about who I am? What are the things that make me a unique person? And what are the things that what's the beauty I want to bring to the world? And some people, that beauty is bringing a child to the world, bringing a new idea to the world, bringing just their positive attitude, their happiness. What is it you want to do that brings your beauty out in the world? I think that's an important thing to kind of think about. And it's a gift that you can give yourself, to really love yourself from the inside out, starting with the way you think to how you take care of yourself. All of those things are so, so important. Rachel, if people want to connect with you and know what you're doing, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Good question. I am on Facebook and Instagram. My Facebook is Rachel Buchanan, but there's a lot of Rachel Buchanans out there. So it'd be hard to know which one is me. I'm on Instagram. My Instagram handle is Journey for a Joyful Life. And so that's me, mostly my family's travels and kind of our daily life, and kind of transitioning from full-time travel to now like in this process of joy, in this journey for joy. And so, yeah, that's great. And also, email is always easy as well. My email is beautycounter, BEAUCOUNTR.Rachel, RACHEL @gmail.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being with us today and for sharing your passion for helping women be beautiful and love themselves and find that beauty inside of them. I think this is such a powerful thing to talk about. And everybody, as you listen to this, I hope that you can recognize that at this holiday season, you can give yourself the gift of saying, I like myself. I love myself. I can take care of myself. And to love your body, make peace with your body, and like who you are. Take care, everybody.